Alright guys, this is like the third time I've tried to make this video. I keep on getting phone calls and it's interrupting me, and I don't know how to speak sometimes, so that gets a little out of hand and have to restart everything else. Well, this is the update for today, or this week. I got the AC delete pulley. I have a part number if anybody needs it. I got it from Napa. You'll have to find a 17 millimeter bolt. It's like a 17 millimeter sleeve that's tapered down to 10 millimeter actual thread part. I just made a spacer because I have access to a lathe here. It took me like 4 hours because I'm not very good on a lathe, but I got that figured out. So AC's deleted. I'm down here in West Virginia, so the weather's usually not that hot, and most of the times I'll have the doors off, so that's no big deal to me. AC condenser has been punctured multiple times, and I got sick of replacing it. Power steering pulley, I found a part number off Dorman's website of a pulley that was supposed to be smaller, and it is smaller, and the inside diameter of here was supposed to be right, and it's not. It's actually like splined almost, and I just took it over to a friend's house like 3-4 years ago, and I drilled it out and never put it on, and power steering pump failed recently, so I thought this would be a good time to do it. Hopefully, or I was hoping that I got it close enough to be press fit. Well, it's not press fit now. No big deal. I'm gonna get everything lined up. I'll probably run a string and, pretty much eyeball it pretty good, and then that thing's just gonna get welded on there. That should be taken care of as far as power steering goes. I talked to West Texas Off-Road like 4 years ago, and I told them about my idea, and they said, we'll have to take a look at it. And then I never got back to them because I really didn't work on this thing very much. I was working construction, so I didn't have time to. Now that I have a bunch of time, it's starting to make more headway. I can get all the front accessories, I guess, and belt and everything figured out and finished up today. That's a big goal for me, is to get this done and out of the way so I can actually drive it. I mean, I could move it around the shop if I need to with no belt, but I prefer to have everything ready to go, and if I need to drive it, a mile up the road, I can. I got new power steering lines, which is going to be cool because these leak. It looks like my steering box is leaking down, by the pitman arm. That's no big deal. I will pretty much go with West Texas Off-Road's kit. I think it's like $600 or $599. I got their form printed out, so I just need a measure for my RAM and take some other notes and write down on there, and then I'll probably call them on Monday to get that ordered. Shouldn't be too bad to mount the RAM. Excuse me. The RAM shouldn't be too hard to mount. I'm sure that I'm gonna have to make a bracket or something to hold it and change some things around, but not anything major. As far as next week, I think that it's gonna be nut and bolt check and probably fluids. Flush all the brakes, do the diffs front and rear, do the motor. I mean, pretty much go over every fluid that they have, or this thing has, and the nut and bolt check will be nice because then I could get a good idea of what all the tools I'll need on the trail. So as of right now, I'm really clueless on, well, I'm not that clueless, but I don't have a good idea of like, those are 1-inch bolts. I don't know what size head they are, or 3/4 or something. See, I don't even know really. But I'd like to go over everything, nut and bolt check it, go over a list of everything that I'll need as far as tool bag goes, and then probably just go around it, and once I torque something down, I'll just take a paint pen and draw some nice lines on them so I know if they're moving or if they're not moving or whatever. After the nut and bolt check, I'll probably start painting, or at least fixing some paint issues that I have on this thing. I mean, we didn't really have time to paint, the frame or the brackets or anything like that. There's a lot of brackets and stuff that I kind of want to finish. Like I said, we were in a rush. I'd like to make like a little gusset, little cap for this. That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe a cap on the bottom. I don't know yet. I may just leave it open so shit falls in there, but I'd hate for, to hit it real hard and it bend because it's really not that stable. And then corner pieces like this, I need to shave corners down. So if I am ever laying underneath this thing or get in there, I'd hate to, hit my head on something like that. That would hurt. And then paint, obviously. And then it's going to be just, I have a list. And the list tells me pretty much what I have to do. I'm going to pick things that I can comfortably do in a weekend, or, during the week I can prep, and then maybe Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, I can, hammer some things out. But that list is out of control as of right now. And I really want to make sure that I do everything in a good order. And I can, if I need to, I can skip one thing because, I'm waiting on parts. No big deal. Skip to the next thing, and that doesn't screw up what I was doing before. I probably should wait to do the nut and bolt check before or after I do everything. But at this point, I like to tackle little small things like that. And I know from, the start that everything was nut and bolt checked. I have all my tools listed down, so it's will be easier for me to work on. Obviously this thing one day will get like a new hood, new fenders and stuff like that. And the tube bumpers would have to come after, or not the tube bumpers, but the tube fenders would have to come after that. But, that's something that I got to make a good list that I already have, but actually get that list in order so I can move forward and not move sideways 6 times and then backwards 1 step and then do something and then have to cut it out. Or change it or whatever. There's really not that much stuff that I need to go buy. The cage, obviously I'm gonna have to buy some tubing for that. Just a factory cage right now, that will get changed. The steel, that's easy enough to get. My boss works for a company that they do a lot of machining and they order a lot of metal and stuff, so I could pretty much get that stuff like within 3 days. If I order it on Monday, usually have it by like Wednesday or Thursday, Friday the absolute latest. And obviously I'll get a good price on it, so that's easy enough. Other than that, it's just gonna be a lot of fab work, I think. Once I get some of this like little BS stuff done, like the header panel and the grill and stuff that's destroyed, once I get that done and get new headlights in it and, do some little small stuff, it's going to be like really, really fab intensive. It's not going to be anything crazy, but just having access to the TIG welder, the plasma cutter, the MIG, the stick welder, the lathe, the mill, the bridge, like having access to all this stuff is going to make this go a lot easier. I need to buy, the only thing I really need to buy that is going to help me down the road is probably a good, hole saw, coping, whatever you want to call it, the notchers. I need to look into notchers. I think I'm going to do the Versa notcher from Rogue Fab. Theirs is pretty sweet. It's kind of expensive, but like, since I'm doing a cage in it and since I'm doing, a tube fender, and I'm actually going to have to make some kind of rub rails or, rock sliders, whatever you want to call them, I'm going to have to get a good notcher because the Harbor Freight ones, they hold up for a couple cuts. I've had good luck with them as far as just doing a couple simple things, but if I'm going to be doing, full cage, full tube fenders front and rear, and I'm going to be doing rock sliders and maybe possibly a tire carrier out back or something crazy, I'm going to need a good notcher. There's no way that I'll be able to do all the fab work with the Harbor Freight ones. I'd have to buy 5 and, you know how that goes. They also, the problem that I've found with the Harbor Freight ones is that the bushings go bad, and it could be like halfway through a cut or, 3/4 way through the cut, and you get a little bit of walk in your hole saw, and then you're buying hole saws like a lot more than you should. A lot of guys say that the good hole saw or the good notchers, you can get like a couple hundred cuts or at least 100 cuts out of one hole saw, which would be amazing because then I could just buy 1 or 2 and I don't got to buy 50. Other than that, that's really about it. Like I said, I got a huge list. I'll probably give another update next week. I might even look into getting a GoPro for this stuff and getting like a little tripod. Now that it's getting nicer outside, I have somewhere to work on it. I can actually make a mess and then clean it up, and I don't got to worry about tools being in gravel. Maybe I'll start making YouTube videos. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just do quick updates like this. What am I at? I'm at 10 minutes now, so I thought that was going to be quick. I thought it was going to be 5 minutes, and I dove a little deep. But anybody that says it's kind of stupid to do all your fab work or it's not worth your time, I would say do it, because that's the only way you're going to know your rig. I mean, you'll know your rig if you do, like, you know, the Evo bolt-on kit, and obviously that stuff's cool, but, like, I have probably half the money, maybe even less, in the 60 and 14 bolt and the, you know, my own links and everything than I would have in an Evo kit. I don't know what the Evo kits run nowadays, because I've really been out of the game for a while, but when I was looking at them, there was no way I could afford it, and this gave me the way that I could just do it in stages. I think that's really about it. But if you can do it, or you want to do it, or want to try to do it, go get a welder and figure it out. I mean, I really haven't had that much time on a lathe. I've maybe had 1 or 2 hours before today or yesterday on a lathe, and I just chucked up something and tried to turn it, and it turned out okay. I figured out tolerances and how to actually make stuff press fit. So anything you can learn and work on your rig and do, even if that means you bolt on, you know, a rough country lift kit, I'm not talking down on it. That's awesome. You know, go do it. Let's make wheeling fun again. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.